You're still logged in on Sahara TV. You're welcome back. The Nigerian election is only a couple of weeks away, and every aspect of society is gearing up for this all-important and historic election. The Nigerian Army, or the Nigerian Armed Forces, is no different. They are also putting together everything at their disposal to make sure that the country comes off with a free, fair, and peaceful election. On the line right now, we are indeed privileged to have Major General Chris Olukolade. Major General Chris Olukolade is the Director for Defense Information of the Nigerian Armed Forces, and he's going to walk us through how prepared the Army is to safeguard this election. You're welcome to Sahara TV, Major General Chris Olukolade.
Thank you, and good evening.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Can I start by asking you, what exactly is the role of the Nigerian Army in election 2015?
Well, I think you mean the Nigerian military entirely.
Entirely, I should say. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Our role is to support INEC to ensure that the arrangement for a free and fair, credible election is properly executed without a disturbance, particularly in terms of security, to allow the people to be able to go about freely and in a peaceful atmosphere to exercise their franchise and to ensure that anyone who has a contrary intention does not have the freedom of action to disturb the peace. We'll be collaborating with other government agencies to achieve this.
Okay. But, sir, traditionally, people might argue that this would be the role of the police. Is this a peculiar situation? Does Nigeria have a peculiar situation prompting the necessity for the Army to take on such a role?
No, the Constitution gives us the duty of supporting civil authorities in times like this.
Okay.
That in itself brings the armed forces the duty to be involved in this. Besides, we'll be collaborating with them. Each person has his role that they are assigned. We are training together, we are interacting together, and putting everything in place to ensure that we have a smooth collaborative effort to achieve the intention of a free and credible election.
Okay, so talking about constitutional requirements and stuff like that, in the North, we all are aware that there's a rather precarious situation. Is the Army making special arrangements, especially in the 3 beleaguered states where Boko Haram is very active?
Well, the arrangement for election is the business of the National Electoral Commission. Our duty is to ensure that we work on the security of that environment, which is ongoing. A lot of operations are in place to ensure that the security of the area is conducive for the conduct of normal socioeconomic and political activities in a peaceful atmosphere. That actually is the essence of the operations that are ongoing at that place at the moment, and all efforts are geared towards achieving that. And we believe that once that is achieved, there is no reason why normal activities, including election, could not take place.
So, Major, I'd like to push that a little bit more, because we heard INEC suggest, for instance, that elections may be suspended in these three areas because of security, which primarily is your job. Are you assuring Nigerians, and indeed all Africans and all concerned people, that you are up to your game, so elections, as far as your outfit is concerned, there's no reason why elections should not go on in these 3 areas?
Like I told you, the operations we are conducting that were over there were necessitated by the need to guarantee the security of life and property and to ensure that people can go about in peaceful atmosphere. Every effort is ongoing in that direction, and we expect that to be assessed by the appropriate authorities for the conduct of any exercise that will be done there.
Okay, Major General. So let's move forward. We heard from Mr. President that $1 billion is being sought in terms of a loan for boosting the operations of the Nigerian armed forces. We also read that the American government donated some warships, etc., to the Navy. How motivated is the Nigerian army, not only to ensure that the elections are free and fair, but beyond, to secure Nigerians in general?
Well, I really can't get the relationship between the issues you just brought up, but as
well,
for
I was thinking more about motivation, Major General.
Well, motivation is relative, but relative to our call to duty to defend the interests of our country and to ensure that our citizens are protected, that is the major motivation of every military personnel in making every input they can to secure the environment and ensure that every individual is able to go about his duty. That we will do, and to the best of our ability, that is ongoing.
Well, maybe to backtrack a little bit, I brought in those figures and the other donation because we've had a fair bit of reportage in the foreign media, which is not very favorable to the Nigerian armed forces. We heard, for instance, we heard of a soldier who was alleged to have said that he, as a Nigerian soldier, had to pay for his own uniform and buy his own bullets and stuff like that. So my question really was that with the $1 billion coming in and with the other equipment coming in, is the army going to be motivated enough to, do what they do?
Can I put one thing in perspective, please? What you said about the soldier claiming to buy his uniform maybe has to be clarified for the fact that every soldier, whether in Nigeria or anywhere, knows the importance of enhancing the outlook in terms of dressing. That is not to say that he has not been issued the basic issues. As I speak to you, I've been in America and I bought uniforms in America. In other words, it means that uniforms are available for sale in that country to service personnel. And so because it is not meant for them to buy, it will not be on sale. So buying uniform or to enhance one's outlook is not strange, it's not unusual, it is not peculiar to Nigeria. And it has to be understood in that spirit than to give the impression that it indicates that people are not provided for. I think that's the misrepresentation of the truth on ground.
Major General, I'm sorry to butt in, but if you listen to this soldier, though, his primary concern was that he was not being well taken care of. He was also complaining about things like paying his own medical bills and stuff like that, sir.
Well, let me tell you that is his own word, and we don't even know if he is a soldier. That is his own claim. And but I've just given you the likelihood of what he intends to express in relation to our own situation. The situation is not as bad as it painted. And I think you know that all over the world, there is no military or any organization that has all it needs at any particular time. And all that happens is incremental provision for the need of the various organizations of state to perform their duty. I can assure you that is ongoing in Nigeria. There's effort to enhance what is available for us to perform our duties.
That's good to know, sir. So my next question then is still kind of related. The international media seems to still give not so favorable reportage as far as the Nigerian armed forces is concerned and its fight against Boko Haram. For instance, there's been talk of atrocities on the part of the Nigerian media, and we've also heard responses that the operations of Boko Haram makes it difficult to engage them, whereby some casualties may result. Can you clarify the situation for us, sir?
Yeah, first of all, you must know that the Western media in particular had a mindset in covering this crime And that was extended to this operation from the word go. There have been a lot of skepticism, a lot of deliberate intention to twist facts, and a lot of design to misrepresent the actual situation on ground. So that in itself was extended to making this allegation repeatedly. I must tell you that we are interested in investigating these allegations, and that we have always pledged, because we know that from the stage of preparation for the mission, from the actual conduct of the mission, our personnel have been well prepared to ensure that they observe not just the rule of engagement, the laws of armed conflict, as well as the humanitarian law. This is constantly drummed into their ears. And so that's why, as an organization, we will not take kindly to anybody found violating the expectation in terms of human rights. Most of what has been said there is just an act of giving the dog a bad name in order to hang it, because none has been proved. None has been exhaustively proved.
Sir, you're saying that up to this point, you haven't really found any truth in any of those reports at all in your investigations?
From each one, we have always pledged to investigate. Others have been involved in trying to investigate it. I tell you that there was reference, for instance, to our detention facilities. ICRC have visited those places a couple of times. We have thrown them open for it to be visited. We have done everything to ensure that human rights record is intact. Unfortunately, people persist in these allegations, and that's the point I'm making, that none has ever been verified or proved, even by those alleging. It's just an intention to rubbish us. But that's not to say that we are not looking out for evidence. Like I mentioned earlier, we are keen to deal with anyone who is found to have violated the cause. We have prepared them, we have taught them, we have cautioned them against such tendencies. The issue will have been to look at the direction where they should be looking. They should be looking at the direction of terrorists whose business is to violate the rights of citizens. And that the essence of any operation we are engaging in is to stop that tendency.
To stop these things.
We don't have to engage in it.
Okay, sir. All right. So as a senior military officer in the Nigerian Armed Forces, are you concerned about all the attention that Nigeria is getting because of Boko Haram? Do you think Nigeria's sovereignty, for instance, is threatened as a result of all the attention that it's getting, because everybody seems to be telling Nigeria what to do to
Thank you very much.
Face the menace?
Indeed, one is concerned, particularly for the fact that some of the interest does not appear to be genuine. Also for the fact that a lot of misrepresentation is going on out there, evidently targeted at some intentions that look sinister. Indeed, we are concerned about our sovereignty as a state, and that we will defend at all costs. For instance, we have insisted that no inch of the nation's territory will be allowed for the terrorists to lay claim to. But the way it is reported there is as if the country is divided between the terrorists and the nation. That's not true. Indeed, the activities are prevalent in certain parts of the situation, but every effort is on to reverse that. And as you might have heard recently from the National Security Advisor, and that's our position, that the Nigerian Armed Forces and security agencies are capable of handling the situation in the country. All we need is the understanding, the support of well-meaning people all over the world. And those who want to be partners should be partners indeed.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Major General Chris Olukolade. But before you go, can I venture one more question with you? There was an allegation that the Nigerian Armed Forces knew about the Baga attacks ahead of time and still failed or refused to send in forces. Is this true? Can you clarify this for us, sir?
Well, please look at this again in perspective. Why is it that any time the terrorists appear to get a bloody nose, somebody just arrives to look for how to find a fault with the Nigerian Armed Forces conduct? indeed, that area being a mission area, being a battle theater, we are ever conscious of threats. We have intelligence as well. And so everybody is always at alert. And in the instances referred to, it's a record that every effort was done to forestall or repel all these attacks. If the original intention of the terrorists was achieved in places like Meduguri, places like Konduga, then this allegation might make some meaning. In these two places, they were effectively repelled, they were effectively curtailed, and made a lot of progress as a result of curtailing them there. So for anybody to now turn around and try to blackmail the effort, I think is unfair, and it is intended for motives that are unknown to us. But that does not deter us. We are committed to protection of civilians. We are committed to ensuring that human rights are observed. And we will keep doing that regardless of efforts to discourage us or to slander or discredit our operations.
So that obviously is not true, as you say. But is it also true that more than 150 people died in that attack, as is claimed by the army? The press reported over 2,000 people, but the army refuted that, saying that only about 150 people actually lost their lives. Can you speak to this?
Yeah, the issue of figures here is rather sensitive, and everybody's just dropping figures around. When we mentioned 150, we're not even specific. We're just saying about that, but we're saying it as at the time of assessment. It is not unlikely to be slightly above or even below. So to have sensationalized the whole thing and hold tight to that figure, in our explanation, we proved that it was impossible for 2,000 to still be available for that level of slaughter, considering the fact that before then there has been a lot of evacuation. While the operation in Baga was on, a corridor was created for civilians to get out of the town. We have area coverage of that is on record. The efforts made to allow civilians to get out of that town while the battle was on. So to turn around and give the impression that people were not protected or that the carnage was more. Indeed, the atrocities were horrifying, really, in terms of bombing, maiming, destruction of property, and killing. It was indeed terrible. But that does not mean that we should exaggerate it for sensationalism.
So there was satellite imaging, for instance, according to which the figure was put between 2,000 and 3,000.
Satellite images. The satellite images were just recording the vegetation of that area. It was not related to human beings. It was related to structures and vegetation. That's what the analysis referred to. And it's not proper, it's misleading to turn around and give the impression that it indicated human beings that were involved. And this is another thing that gives the impression of some manipulation.
Thank you for the clarification, Major General, and thank you so much for your time. We definitely will be coming back to you every now and then and when we need more clarification on the efforts that the Nigerian Armed Forces is putting in to curtail Boko Haram and to preserve the overall situation, the overall security situation in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please, I use this to also appeal for your understanding. We will be available to clarify issues. We have nothing to hide as a nation, but we want understanding from the media like yours and all of us to give us a hearing and to be less judgmental.
Our doors are always open, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Major General Chris Olukolade, Director of Information, Nigerian Armed Forces. Stay tuned. There's more coming. Sarah TV.